Research shows that 93% of your communication does not come from your words. So let me show you exactly where it comes from so that you can influence anyone at any time. I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm a neurostrategist, designed by God, and passionate about the brain. Listen, there are a lot of confused and conflicting ideas when it comes to business growth and success. And so I'm here to bring clarity and to help you think and build your dreams into reality. When I first got started into business and this entrepreneurial journey, I would often find myself looking for the better words to explain what I had to offer, trying to find the better angle or the better science, the research, the ability to prove it to somebody. And I was actually in my own mind, I was very convinced that if I just have enough time with somebody, I can prove to them why this is the best decision, right? Maybe you can relate. Like, I know with enough time, this is absolutely the best decision. The problem is, first off, the brain is not rational, and the decisions that it makes are not from words, right? So the majority of your communication do not come from words. 93% is nonverbal. So then what do we do with that, right? So early on, I learned the hard way, and honestly, I didn't know this. I would eventually, with the emotion and passion and conviction I have, would be able to hit on the parts of the brain enough to where people would buy in, but I didn't know why. And now I want to help you know why. And this is where most sales tactics and strategies and models and scripts, this is where they get it wrong, because they don't take into account how is the brain actually wired. And so the last 15 years, we have more research on this, more technology that proves with brain fMRI studies why and how the brain makes decisions. This is important because now you can communicate effectively based on how the brain is wired. That's what I'm about. That's what everything that I talk about, teach, is to help you, a mission-based, purpose-driven leader, actually create more influence. And it starts with understanding that 93% of your communication does not come from words. In fact, think about this stat, is that actually when you're on a phone call, not FaceTime, not a Zoom call, not a video chat, a phone call, old school talking on a phone to a human being. Research shows that only 14% of your communication on a phone call comes from your words. I'll say it again, 14% comes from your words. So the thing is, you don't even see them. So here's the stats. So listen to me close here. So 93% of your communication does not come from your words. So what's the breakdown? 55% comes from your body language and 38% comes from your tone. The tone of your voice, vocal variety. So when you're on a phone call, it turns out that 86% of the communication, whether somebody's going to make a decision or how they're making a decision, whether they're going to follow through or not follow through or do what you want them to do, that's going to be based on your tone. 86% is based on your tone on a phone call. Now, most of us are on phone calls, right? And nobody answers the phone. I don't answer the phone anymore. It's like, well, just text me. Why are you calling me, right? Everybody says that. So I'm not talking about the phones per se. What I want to remind you of is that 93% of your communication is nonverbal. So 38% is coming from your tone and 55% is coming from your body language. And so how is your body language? How is your tone? So I'm going to give you some very specific strategies here in a minute, but I wanted to, there was research done, and I don't know who does this research, but it was done on TED Talks, the most effective and the most viewed TED Talks. What separated one TED Talk that was bad to mediocre to one that blew it out of the water? And the difference was they literally went through all these statistics and they came up with 3 specific statistics as to what made these so compelling, these TED Talks so viewable, so popular, and so well viewed. So here's what it was. Number 1 was that the person communicating had over 465 hand gestures, right? I think the number is 4. It was over 450. So during their 18-minute talk, they had moved their hands over 450 times. The second thing is they had more vocal variety. So their tone, right? Number 1, hand gestures, body language, tone, vocal variety, tone, they had greater tone. And the third thing is they smiled more. And so how would you do that in yours? Now, I teach a very shortcut to increasing both your body language and your tone, and it's all about your conviction about what you have to offer. And so if you're so convicted, it leads to your passion, right? And so what I tell you is this, I don't want to confuse you and say you got to do 17 steps. It's if 93% of your communication is nonverbal, 38% is coming from your tone, 55% is from your body language, and 7% from your words, then your words is the least of your priorities if your objective is to get people to believe and to act on your message. So now that you know that 93% of your communication is not coming from your words, the 2 key strategies you can implement right away to maximize your influence is, number 1 is more passion, right? But your passion is not my passion. Your passion is coming from the knowledge and conviction that you have. Think about that. What you have serves another human, right? And so when you think about them not having what you have, that makes their life less productive, less quality, less healthy, less of all, right? And so the more that you're convicted of that thing you have, the more you're knowledgeable and convicted of that, the more passion you have. It's really kind of the ultimate, like what's underpinning that is care. If you care enough about your people that you're trying to reach and serve, and you know without your product, service, or offer, they're not gonna have the life that they deserve, then how could you not be passionate about that? So it turns out that people follow passion. We know that that comes out in your tone and in your body language. So the shortcut to passion is being convicted about what you do. And I think about this, I teach my clients this every day. Number one is, what do you have to offer them, right? How does it make their life better? Number two is, if they don't have it, right, where are they gonna go? And number three is, what does their life look like if they don't have it, right? When you actually can start to conceive those things, now you say, I'm about people. And I'm about them getting this, what I have. And if they don't, that convicts me. My caring, compassionate heart gets me more passionate about reaching them and trying to, pull them into what I have to offer. So passion, number one. Number two, and this is huge, this is an absolute needle mover and game changer for your success, and that is, you need to use story. The power of story. Really, it's actually biology. It's measured with a hormone called oxytocin. When you tell a story the right way, and I teach everyone how to unpack their story, reverse engineer it, and articulate in a way that triggers oxytocin, which is this trust hormone within the body. And so when you trigger that trust hormone, you actually have people that will remember your message, they'll pay for it, and they'll tell others. And so when it comes to nonverbal communication, really communication at large, right across the board, because 93% is nonverbal, the two elements that you need to do is, number one, passion, convey your passion, and that's an inner game, not an outer game. And number two is tell more story. Facts tell, stories sell. I say a spoonful of story helps the data and facts go down, and that is true. A spoonful of story helps the data and facts go down. When you can wrap the facts and the data, which are important, but you can wrap them in story, now they'll remember it, they'll build trust around it, and they'll ultimately do what you want them to do. It bypasses the skeptical, doubt, resistant centers of the brain, and now you have the capability to influence people like never before. So hey, if you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button below. It'll help the algorithm, it'll put more of it in your feed, and most importantly, help you turn your dreams to reality. Dr. Dan, out.